out.
Thanks, buddy.
Have fun.
Yeah. All right, good morning. Or should I say, good morning, St. John Valley. I'm a little frustrated, some technical difficulties here. This is Wake Up SJV. Apparently I'm not awake. Got in a fight here with a computer. I didn't even get to play my opening music. So here it is. Name the artist. One hit wonder from the 80s. Now I'm dating myself. Today's guests, Mr. Peter Saucier, Director of Transportation for MSAD 27. And none other than Mr. Carl Terrio with the Fort Cat Outdoor Center. So tomorrow morning, I don't want to promise because I obviously struggle with this, but I hope that we're on schedule. So if you are out there, I'm sure I'm losing the limited guests I had, the fans. Never been great with computers. Slowly, very slowly getting better. I believe Mr. Saucier may be ready to come in here. We're going to ask him, how's it going over there at right next door here at SAD 27, and specifically the transportation issues, and there's no students, so why do we see buses all over the place? So let's bring him in. Hey, well, it looks like he's on the phone. Good morning, Mr. Peter Saucier. How are we doing?
I'm doing fine. And yourself, sir?
You're live, my friend, on Wake Up SJV. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, you're welcome. How you doing today? Hey.
My guess is that you probably were up at 4 a.m., my friend. So you literally wake up St. John Valley, don't you?
Well, usually on a snowy days, even worse. But on a little bit of a snowy day like we're getting today, a little bit of rain, I guess I'm going to say I slept in till 5. Yeah, that's good. So that's a good day.
Good for you. So listen, can you tell us, Pete, how your role has changed with this whole remote learning thing? Listen, we don't have any students rolling in and out of school. So how has that changed for you, my friend, as Director of Transportation here for the District 27?
Well, in taking care of the transportation facilities and grounds, the role has changed considerably to making sure that our students are not necessarily transported to school, but transporting the meals out to our students so that we can actually have a good school day for our students out there and all of the youth in the in our area. Basically, and everybody from 0 to 18 is available to have a meal. So we basically do the best we can to make sure that we cover the area that we typically travel for all of our students to make sure that everybody's fed. That role has changed immensely because we used to worry about our school students and the timings for our buses to be picking up our students, and making sure that we were always at the right place and staffing for our buses to make sure that everybody was where it needed to be. So the change is quite evident that it's been a different task for us. So we're now delivering food versus picking up students, and it's been in some sense very rewarding to see our students come running to the bus and so happy to be seeing the yellow bus and the driver and the ed techs that are working on these buses, to be able to show the continuity of the education part of it. And they know that they're doing their schooling at home, but they're actually getting the school lunch and it's amazing. When I went to school, I wasn't that thrilled about the school lunch, but now it's impressive to see the students, how happy they are to see it. So we're happy to be able to do a good part in making sure that our students are cared for and fed. So how has my role changed? Well, typically I come in usually early in the morning and make sure that the routes are where they need to be and changes that need to happen, for our students as we're addressed, and making sure that our drivers and buses start and everything is moving, let alone on a snow day. So that usually gets an earlier start on a storm day. But now basically what we're looking at is the change of the folks that have sent emails, which I really wanted to commend the folks out there who do send emails early in the morning or phone calls, and we can make meal changes prior to going and make that delivery, because that's very important that we can get those out there. So I usually gather those at about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, I end up, because, we prepare when the buses roll at 3 o'clock, at 10 o'clock in the morning, we're transporting nearly 3,000 meals on these 8 buses that leave between 10 and 10:15. So there's a
Wow.
lot of hands on deck that are really putting this together, from the kitchen staff doing an awesome job at getting things put together, and the ed techs that are preparing, bagging and getting everything put at the right order. So it's quite a challenge to organize, and hats off to the staff that have really stepped up and done, things different, from our drivers right up to, our cook staff, to even our teaching staff, administrative staff that have stepped forward and helped in loading and preparing and organizing, and the support that we've had, has been, um, it's amazing to see this all come together. So I guess my role has changed a little bit, I would say,
Yeah.
to make sure that everybody does everything that we need to have, so that we can, um, you know, make sure that our students have a good educational day and a continuity into their education, so that they can receive their promoting grades in June, and their graduation, in June as well for our seniors. So, I think we're a large part of education in order to be able to make sure that we promote the education, and I think we're doing that very well. So,
Well, kudos to you, Pete. All these people you're talking about really are, what's being called frontline workers throughout the nation, and it's just amazing. I mean, do you have a rough, or you probably have an exact number, but can you give us a rough, maybe a percentage of how many students out there are taking advantage of these meals? I know my 2 daughters pretty much get it on a regular basis. They've got their grandmothers teaching them during the day, and but do you have a rough number you could throw, or a solid number? What percentage of our student body is actually getting these meals?
well, we have 800, about 850 students registered in our school, and we are delivering daily nearly 800 meals. Now,
Wow.
per 800 meals for the students, so we're actually making like 800 deliveries, for the students. So, but what that means is that, we're delivering 4 meals to each of those students, or each of those stops. Now, taking consideration that we have some students or some youngsters that are only a year old, which are not registered in our school, but then we have some seniors who say, you know what, I think I'm going to skip school lunch, so I'm not going to take the school lunch. So
Yeah.
when we're putting out approximately, 800 meals per day, as or I should say, we're feeding 800 young people per day, is pretty much where it brings us to. So I kind of threw a little bit of a number together, and we've actually done this. We've done this trip now since we've started. On the, I guess the first day that we actually went out, I think was, if I'm looking at a calendar, would have been April 17, I think was our first day that we went out. And since then, we have gone out 24 times delivering food. We have logged on 7,800 miles on our buses,
Wow.
but we have delivered 72,800 meals. That's pretty impressive when you stop and think about, the size of our district and the area that we cover. We're putting in upwards to 300 miles a day on all 8 of the
Yep.
buses that go out. So
That's amazing. That's amazing.
so not only do we, do deliver the meals, but the maintenance of the fleet is still very important in order to be able to continue to, we've got, your own personal vehicle. When you have, 7,000 miles placed on that vehicle, you've got to have done some service. So, the maintenance of the vehicles still continue because we're still out there. So the maintenance shop is busy, maintaining oil changes and greasing and everything else that happens on a regular basis. And God forbid, we still do have breakdowns. Things still happen. So, it's
Sure, sure.
mechanical. So we expect it to break down. So, the shop is busy as well. And so it's a busy time.
Yeah. Well, listen, let me ask you, let me put you on the spot here and ask the $1 million question, my friend. I think you've got a big school board meeting coming up. I believe that's Wednesday, correct?
Tomorrow.
And I'm sure this is an ongoing question, but Pete, what are your major safety concerns? Because you don't just oversee transportation. You're the you're kind of our safety guy, right? What are your major safety concerns? In the fall with bringing students back to school, hopefully, with the whole social distancing and the school setting. I mean, how is that in your eyes going to work? In the fall. And I know we're all waiting kind of we're waiting for, Governor Mills and the state and the CDC to give us direction, and it kind of trickles down. But anyway, what are your major safety concerns as we try to get back in the fall?
So as we have to practice our social distancing, and if we need to continue to be doing this when we start back school in August, I believe that that's going to pose a humongous challenge, as we not only need to do our social distancing in our schools, but we also need to do social distancing in transportation. So when we typically have buses that are traveling that have, upwards of 50 and 60 students on board, that may change an awful lot come August. And at this point, there's going to be definitely some challenges in order to be able to transport, the students, to making sure that our students are transported safely. Which is going to be a humongous, challenge for us to be able to face with, the lack of drivers, the lack of people that we have in order to be able to, to drive our students, and, the lack of buses that we have, because technically, we may need to be looking at doubling the fleet in order to being able to cover all of these areas, in order to be able to keep our students, if we can only, put, 25, 30, 40 students on the bus that we typically have 60 or 70, that's a humongous challenge. So it may mean altering different things. It may mean altering routes. It may mean altering the day. It may mean staggered school starts. It could mean many different things in order for us to be able to, to make this all come together and maintain our student safety just on the transportation side, let alone what it's going to mean in the buildings. With our students needing to have that 6-foot, safety zone around them. And, think about the cafeteria, think about the folks that go in to eat, lunch, when they're all sitting at a table where there's 10 people sitting at a table. So it's definitely going to be posing a lot of questions and a lot of, a lot of different scenarios that we're going to need to face. And I'm not prepared to answer any of those questions. And I don't think it's a great idea for me to be publicly saying that we're going to be doing this and that, whatever else, because
No, I know.
we're going to do the best we can to try to
yeah,
maintain that social distancing. And we are waiting for Governor Mills in order to be able to set us some standards as to what we're going to need to abide by, because, we still have to follow the Department of Education's regulations. And we're still a school, and we need to do the best that we can, to maintain all of our student and public, safety. So
yeah. I think the world is watching, Pete. I was watching the news a little bit last night, and I saw they went back to school. I think it was in Germany, and some other places. And but as I think the rest of the U.S. is still on hold. I think there's like 3 or 4 states that still have not decided even on this year, which is a little bit of a surprise. But anyway, it's an interesting conversation. I know nothing. This is all new to all of us. And it's I do think it's safe to say that it's we're not going back to what it was, but we are going to come back stronger than ever. But we'll see how that works out. So
If anything, this has certainly opened our eyes in many different avenues so that we can, understand how we can handle different situations, and we will bounce back and be stronger than we were in order to understand what we need to do to keep our people safe all around us. I think that washing our hands is something that's very, very elementary, and we should be thinking about doing that. As a pre-K student that comes in, well, it's a very simple fix. But if people wash their hands and uh, cover up, and be safe,
yeah, yeah.
think about those things. That's how we're going to maintain this, and this is how we're going to beat this. And it's going to be the new norm for us to think about, hand washing stations and training our students, at a young age to wash your hands every time that you come in from recess. Wash your hands before lunch, after lunch. Wash them. We provide antibacterial soap for our students that wash their hands. Every classroom has hand sanitizer that's available to them, and we're going to see a greater use of that for our students and our
Oh
staff.
yeah, yeah.
And that's going to keep us all healthy. So ultimately, at the end of the day, see how better we would have learned. It's terrible to be able to think that some folks had a rough learning curve in order to make it happen, but I think we'll
Yeah,
we'll be
for sure.
stronger by learning that. So
Yeah. Listen, are you fishing yet? And if yes, where can I go to catch fish like you, my friend?
the best place to go fishing is in the water.
Oh, yeah, yes. Why didn't I think that through? Listen, Pete, you're awesome. You are truly a hero. And thank you for leading the troops and feeding the kids and just thinking about all this stuff. And we all hope to be doing this, not through Zoom and next to each other again here in the near future. So stay safe, my friend.
Thank you, Eric, and thanks everybody for taking the time to listen and tune in, because this is very important for us, for our students, for our schools, and for our community, because we all live here together and we all want to be safe together. So again, together we'll make that goal achievable. So have a wonderful day, Eric. Thank you for everything that you're doing in order to promote positive throughout the community. We really appreciate that, and look forward to the next version of the fishing derby challenge that we can put out between us. So take
I
care. Thank you
agree.
very much. Have a great
Take care.
day.
Stay safe, my friend.
You as well.
Okay, that was thanks, Pete. That was Peter Saucier with SAD 27. We will be trying to bring in. Okay, Peter. Oh, listen, you can leave.
I am. See ya.
Okay. See, but we will be bringing in at some point, we hope, the director of food service for all of Valley Unified. But she is a super busy lady, and we have not had a chance to reach out yet. But we are going to try to bring in Miss Melanie Legassi, who is leading that food service situation. Great, incredible information. And maybe a snapshot on education here as we get back, hopefully in the fall. But that's all, excuse me, up in the air. We're going to bring in Mr. Carl Terrio, who looks like he's ready. Let's see if we can get him. Hey, Carl Terrio, how we doing, my friend? I don't know if we have your volume. Carl? Hello. We can't hear you. Oh, he's connecting to audio. Here we go. You got to connect to your audio, my friend. Okay, he's some technical difficulties here. Got to click your microphone, my friend. Well, while we stare at Carl, We will take a quick look at the weather. No? Carl, we can't hear you. Can you click on your microphone, my friend? Microphone, mute. No? Let me see my friends here as we struggle through this. Oh, he's calling me. Can't hear you, bud. Yeah, you have a microphone in the corner. Did you click it on? Yeah, click that. Join with computer audio. Yes.
Whole bunch of numbers that come on the screen.
Okay, you're in.
Oh, something happened.
All right, sorry about that. This is our new normal, Carl. Trying to meet through video as we all love this. So, Carl Terrio with the Fort Kent Outdoor Center. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you, sir? This morning, bright, beautiful morning out there. Look at the fresh snow coming down. Woo! Love it.
I know you're excited. So welcome to welcome to Wake Up SJV. And listen, you do this on a regular basis, so do I. So we are going to, hold on a second. We're going to talk about the weather. I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. Here we go. Let's blow this up and Carl, do you look at the weather pretty much on a hourly basis, a daily basis? How do we do this?
In the winter, when we're worried about events and skiing and everything going on, probably twice, 3 times a day, easily.
Okay, great. And what is your go-to source here? This is mine. I got this at a athletic director conference. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mine's Weather Underground. That's one I use and I trust the most. But
weather. Oh yeah, you've told me that before.
Yeah, the other good one is the one over in Canada, and I got a mental blank right now which one it is, because I find the one in Clare is a little more accurate than any of them, believe it or not. It's kind of interesting to look at that sometimes. So that's interesting too. For some reason, I can't find it right now. Haven't looked at it for.
Carl, honestly, is any of the weather accurate? Come on.
Those guys get paid to be close. Kind of like.
So it looks like today, you are a happy man. It says light snow, fog, and mist right now. So you are one of the few that is happy that it's snowing right now.
So happy. I'm done with snow.
Okay, good. Because I'm more excited about if we look at middle of the week here, my friend. Wednesday, Thursday looks nice. So at least we'll get 2 days.
Yeah. So tell me, what's this SJV Good Morning all about here? Anyway, what are we doing?
Geez, that's a great question because I did stumble through my opening again. I'm struggling with technology. So I was 13 minutes late this morning. I was, I think, 10 yesterday. So I'm slowly getting worse. Tomorrow morning, I hope to start on time.
All right.
No, we're just, thanks to Chaz Pelletier and Channel 4 and the St. John Valley.live platforms, Carl, we're doing a little morning show here. So just to get some info out, we just had Peter Sose on, who's the director of transportation, as you know, a guy that you battle with on a daily basis.
All the time and is doing a great job with all that food out there right now. It's amazing what they're doing.
So we don't know who the heck's watching, especially when I'm 13 minutes late. But these are archived as well, and I'm going to try this for about a month. You know, I got a little Zoom account here, and just something to do. I'm up early in the morning anyway, and so I figured I'd give myself some more work.
So is this broadcast on Channel 4 then, or 8 or what?
Yeah, it's on their Facebook pages, Carl. It's on that St. John Valley platform. It's linked to a couple different social media accounts, and it just rolls out there. So you are live, my friend, and tomorrow, if I can get on schedule, I'm going to roll out my Facebook on my phone so I can kind of see who exactly is following and what type of questions we can take. So
all right, deal.
Hold on a second here, though. I got to see did I stop sharing? Yeah, I did. Now, Carl, let me throw a couple things at you, my friend, while I have your attention.
Got it.
Here's a great one for you, because I'm not just saying this, but I have fell in love with the outdoor center. And it didn't start. A lot of people just think skiing, but my new love affair, my friend, believe it or not, started in the fall with disc golf. So I was up there, as you know, with my phys ed classes, and we had a bunch of crazy freshman boys that went out on mountain bikes with you, and then I took a group. So kind of just tell us, what the heck can we do up there at the Fort Kent Outdoor Center?
So we're kind of known for skiing, as you just started out. That's how the whole thing started, and some of the best ski trails in the United States, frankly, and the best snow coverage. So that's kind of our forte. But we've expanded our services to try to offer more to the local community than just excellent skiing over the last few years. Snowshoeing was the big addition probably 8-9 years ago, quite a while ago. And I'll tell you, I see more snowshoers out on our trails every day than I do skiers. It's amazing, because if you can walk, you can snowshoe, basically. I mean, it's pretty simple and straightforward. You just take your winter boots and throw them in a binding and a snowshoe and go for a great hike in the woods. And it's gorgeous. It's quiet. It's not windy. Beautiful out there. Nice trails. And I don't know how many miles of trails we have. I don't know, 6 or 7 miles of snowshoe trails. Some of them starting from the bottom of the ski toe. Some of them starting from the outdoor center. Some of them starting from Mickey Levesque's house, what we call the Red Barn over there. And we continue to expand those trails continuously. Laura Artebeer has been in charge of that project for years and just done a wonderful job. They're well mapped, they're well signed. You really can't get lost. So in the winter, it's a great alternative if you are not comfortable with skiing. And a lot of times snowshoers progress into skiing eventually, is what happens. Now that's one season. So in the winter, we're really skiing, snowshoeing, ski joring. I'll mention ski joring as well. We have some trails that are available for ski joring, and you've got one of those pups that'll be ideal for that here very shortly. We're going to trade her next winter.
Can't wait.
In town have got a dog that pulled them on their skis. Great way for your dog and yourself to get exercise. It's really a fun sport, and the dogs love it.
Carl, will she run me into a tree? I mean, let's be honest. I've been on your trails. I'm still a rookie skier. I was going to say low intermediate, but I'm not there yet. So do I need a helmet, and how the heck do I stop my dog?
She won't run you into, you're going to run you into a tree if anything will happen. No, it's not as bad as you would think. Have you tried it? You've tried it yet? Didn't you get on Sarah's bike?
No, I have not tried with her yet. She pulls me through town. I do know that, but I can only imagine maybe some rollerblades. I'll start this summer and see how that works.
No, don't start. I don't advise that at all. Start on snow, because it's much easier to fall on snow than it is. But actually, it's easier than you think. If you can snowplow, you can stop. You got enough weight in your body to stop a dog for the most part. Feels like they're really pulling you, but they just make it so much easier on the flats and some of the uphills to just cruise along. And it's just a lot of fun. It really, on a really fast kind of icy day, you got to be careful, because you're gonna be cooking. But beyond that, just take your time, and they'll just help you out and do your normal skiing. And you're taking your dog for a walk. And if you got a really powerful dog, they're gonna pull you quite a bit. It's amazing, really. I was trying to keep up with Leslie Marquis the other day. She's got a mutt. I think his name's Otis. I mean, nothing special. Just a kind of a house mutt, but he's a big dog. He's probably an 80-pounder or something like that. I couldn't keep up with her, and I had just skiing along. There was no way I could keep up with him on the Violet Settlement Loop. There, it was crazy.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of fun. So that's winter. Summertime, we've added the disc golf course. We put in 9 holes last year, and this summer we're going to put in another 9 holes. So we'll have a full 18. So we'll go around and come right back to the lodge.
Awesome.
We've had experienced people play. I'm not experienced at all. I know hardly anything about the sport, but it's basically, if you think of golf and all you're doing is throwing a Frisbee into a container that's got some chains on it. Once you get close, it's not too bad. So you got a driver disc. You've got a, I don't know what they call an approach disc. And then you have a putting disc. They have 3, some guys will carry a little basket with them with 10 or 12 different discs in it. For me, just one disc is close.
Yeah,
it's like a Frisbee.
Sorry to interrupt you, Carl, but it's amazing because each disc, as you know, has 4 numbers on them. and it's tied into, I was teaching my students a little bit, the beginner type stuff, but the four numbers off the top of my head, one is distance, one is glide in the air, one is angle. It's amazing. It's pretty cool, so it almost gets like golf, because instead of deciding which club to use, you're like, which disc do I throw from this spot? So it's real cool, and it's awesome that you have set that up. So
Yeah, there's a lot of precision to it, and the guys that are really good, it's amazing how far they can throw them and how accurately. I played disc frisbee when I was a kid, so that's kind of throw it all kind of the same way. It goes all over.
Right.
Great social thing. It's a great way to get outside into the woods and enjoy the trails. And we really just set it up along our ski trails, which were a natural for it. I mean, you have these long, narrow fairways. We've cleared out the trees side by side for the most part. So that was a lot of work last summer. But we didn't have to do a lot of excavation or a lot of change, some, but not a lot. But it's a great way to get some exercise and get outside and socialize. You get out there with 3-4 people, you can have a good time and make a few bets while you're at it and drink a couple of beers or something like that. Have a good time.
Oh, it's awesome. Listen, tell us about your, I know there's been a lot of work put into this and a lot of excitement, but tell us about your single track mountain bike trails.
Yeah, let me say one last thing about disc golf. We have discs up there for rent. If you don't have one, there's a self-service kiosk right on the outside of the lodge. You can go up there and just, I don't remember what it is, $1 or $2, put it in the little box and take your disc out. So if you don't have any and you're not familiar with it, then we've got little scorecards and a map and everything. So things are coming together as far as getting up there and going out and do it. So we're getting that put together, and that's really, really popular in a lot of places.
Yeah, you need to try it. I had students of all abilities do it. Like I said, this fall, and they really loved it. You don't, like you said, you don't need to get technical. I think we played, per your recommendations, we played with a driver and then just a putter. And those are the two discs we used.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen me through a disc, I mean, I was taking down tree branches and whatnot. And so we didn't get too technical, but I really, and I did a little research. I think that's the way to start, Carl. If you use those two, we played 9 holes and we loved it. It was great. Yeah. And it really is scenic up there. It's incredible.
Yeah. No, and we should, the catchers are not out there right now. We pull them in the winter, but probably in the next 2 weeks, things will be drying quite well. And I would imagine by that time we'll be putting them back out. So I would say by, where are we today? The 5th of May, we're going to be, probably 2 weeks, by Memorial Day, we'll have things out is what I would say.
Okay. Just call Governor Mills before you put those out.
There you go. All right. Actually, that's one of the allowed events.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. I did see that. That's true.
They put out there. So disc golf was one. Single track mountain biking. Hey, so we've been working on single track trails for the last, put on a helmet, right? Last, 8-9 years. It's been quite a while. And we have about 5 miles in place right now. We did a lot of work last summer. We bought a used small mini excavator, and it really exponentially changed how much mountain bike trail we could add to our system last summer. Got some great volunteers out there creating new trails. We just had a walk around meeting last week to try to create some new trailheads and some new trails and make sure we got everything flowing right. So people, if they're new to the system, they don't get lost and they know where to go. So a lot of that work's going to be going on this summer. They're super fun. There's some super challenging and some super easy trails. So, if you get out there with an 8-year-old kid that's fairly new to it, shouldn't, there's a nice trail that has a little bit of challenge to it, has some nice berms in it, nice, nice hard packed surface to get on, and a few pump areas where you can go up and down, a lot of fun. And then there's super challenging trails that you should have been riding a bike for a little while before you get on it. So there's kind of both ends of the spectrum, and you can get up there and ride for a good hour and a half, 2 hours, and not hit the same trail, more than once. And everything.
Carl, sorry to interrupt you. Are your trails marked, skill levels, so to speak, like a ski trail? beginner, intermediate, expert, you know, kind of like the whole double diamond type thing at Alpine, or I know your Nordic trails are marked that way on the map. Are your mountain bike trails marked just so someone like me doesn't go down the super advanced one and you know, pull an endo and are those marked out, or is it just all say, you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at, or?
Yeah, no, not yet. That's part of what we're working on. Okay, that's, you know, we had a long discussion about that the other day, that we need to identify that well and map that well. Right now it's been kind of word of mouth. Okay, that's where that trail goes, you know. But yeah, so I mean, we're working on that right now, Eric. So it should be fairly obvious. But the other thing you can do up there is you can ride the roller loop, which is a paved loop. So people that don't want too rough a ride, they just want to go out for a ride. As long as you're riding in the direction of where the roller skiers are going, no problem at all. It's a great ride, great way to get out, great way to get out on a, what do you call that? A board with wheels on it. What do you call it? A skateboard. There we go. Skateboard, or on a tricycle, or on with somebody. I see women out there walking with strollers. It's really a nice, relaxing way to get outside. Then beyond that, we have all our ski trails that are available for mountain biking too. And those are relatively easy. A couple hills are a little bit of challenge to get up. Get off your bike and walk up it. The downhills are great though, but those are great as well. So, you know, there's the single track, there's the roller loop, which is paved, which is about 3 kilometers long. And then there's all our ski trails up on top of the hill, starting at the biathlon center for mountain biking too. So there's all kinds of options, some beautiful views.
Awesome.
And beautiful.
It really is. You know, I'm ashamed to say that, you know, it took me 20 years to find your spot, but since I started working with you as athletic director, and I got up there and I got to see what a special place, you know, I was on the timing crew for the Biathlon World Cup back in the day. What was that? 2000? What was the first one? 2004? Or?
4 was the first one, and 11 was the next one.
Yeah, it was 2004. It was pretty amazing. Yep. That was my first experience at your venue. I was hoping you were going to keep that movie theater screen they brought in from Finland or wherever the heck it was. But anyway, no, that was
Houston, actually.
Yeah, okay, that was incredible. And ever since then, you know, I knew it was there, but really getting up there in the last year or so has been amazing. You really can use all 4 seasons. I highly recommend it. The family passes are very affordable, Carl, for a year. I think, what is that, 125 or 150?
I think for families, 150. Students are 30 bucks. Adults are 60 bucks. And, you know,
oh, it's a great deal. And like you said, all the stuff you can do up there is amazing. Listen, in closing, can you? If nothing else, what I see used as much as anything is people just going for a walk. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go for a walk. You know, just go for a walk for half hour, whatever. During the summer, it's amazing how many people I see doing that. Just get some exercise, you know, or go for a jog. I see some people that jog there every night. Same people, you know.
Right, and to get off the mills, you know, the mills get so busy with traffic and cars, and people don't think we have traffic in Fort Kent, but it does get pretty crazy. So, you're right. What a great location to go to.
It's a community resource. That's the key. That's what we're trying to make it more and more as part of the community, not just an elite athlete training center. We do still train athletes there. There's no question about it, but we want to mix that up with the community, using it as much as they can. And I still run into people, like you just said, every day that, oh, geez, I've never been up here before. Man, it's neat that they have this and they have that and they have this. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention, the fun thing, we have a sledding hill right by the wax building in the winter too.
Oh, yeah.
Great place for sledding parties and that type of thing. You know, a lot of people use it that way, and we try to keep that groomed, so it's kind of fun. It's not dangerous, but fun. Just, you know, fun, dangerous enough to be fun. There we go. That's the way to say it.
No,
so that's
another reason you're happy to see the snow today, bud, because people come up and go sledding. So listen, are you still skiing up there?
No, I mean, not really. Well, last time we skied, I think, last Thursday. I groomed Wednesday and we were on Thursday, and now there's just too many open spots and there's water running everywhere, and we put the groomer away. What's
the record? How late have you skied up there, my friend?
Oh, we've been up into Mother's Day before frequently, so we're not quite there this year. I thought we were going to make it, but this rain and the no freezing in the last few nights here is just gone. So you can still ski down the ski toe. I think we can still make it there on all the man-made snow. We don't make any man-made snow up there at all. So anyway,
awesome.
Who wants to climb the ski toe, go for it.
Listen, you got 1 minute to, and you've been awesome. You've been behind this. You've helped myself personally. But tell us how excited you are about hosting the state ski championships here in Aroostook County next winter, my friend.
Yeah, we're doing something completely different. And thanks to Eric Werntgen for that great idea that we should spread this around the county. And I'm really supportive of that as well. We've got the state ski championships here in Fort Kent. It'll be the first time we've done Alpine since 2010. I was coordinator of that event when we did it there and on the Green Bean Trail. I think we did. Anyway, it was during the Vancouver Olympics. So that's 10 years ago for Alpine. Cross country, we've done it 2 or 3 times since then. I think the last time was 2018, just like 2 years ago, if I remember right. And this year we're doing something a little different. We're going to have one of the Nordic events at the Outdoor Center, one of the Alpine events at Lonesome Pines, and then one of the Alpine events at Big Rock in Mars Hill, and the other cross country event down in Presque Isle. So it's going to be neat. We're going to spread people all around the county. We're expecting 320-ish Nordic skiers. Alpine skiers, I'm going to say there's somewhere around 80, 90 total, if I remember correctly, looking at the running orders,
Yep.
all the venues. So we are having the first events in Fort Kent. So Monday is the slalom at Lonesome Pines, and then that's not right. Tuesday is the GS event down at Big Rock. The athletes will come up on Sunday and ski Lonesome Pines on Sunday and then race on Monday. So we'll have them for a couple days here and then travel down to Big Rock for their last event on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we'll have the classic race. So that means the Nordic skiers will be up in Fort Kent on Tuesday, spend Tuesday night, be here Wednesday for the race, and then travel down to Presque Isle to finish up the event. So it's a very different format. Should be a lot of fun, a lot of people in town. Especially that Tuesday night when we have 300 and some Nordic skiers, because we'll have all 3 classes of the Nordic event, A, B, and C, here for that event. So we're going to fill up all the hotels that are even possible between here and Presque Isle, which is one of the reasons we're doing this, because we're going to have so many people. We really couldn't accommodate everyone in Fort Kent with all the hospitality. It would have been a challenge. We probably could do it, but you couldn't get, some of the teams, they like to be together. And many of these teams, if you're allowed 8 skiers at each event. So there's 16, you always bring a couple extras, and then all the parents, blah, blah, blah. You're up to 30, 35 people you got to house for one team. And, a lot of these, well, we're probably talking close to 50 total teams coming up. So exciting time, going to be great. I'm going to be hopping up there at the venues, at both venues. It's going to be busy and a great time during vacation week to have this put together.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. We are so excited. I can't thank you enough for your leadership and your guidance to get this going. And man, it's going to be great. You know how big skiing is in Aroostook County, and now to showcase all of that, not all of it, but those 4 venues to the rest of the state is going to be pretty incredible. So we just hope we have some snow. If we get a heat wave and in February, how many times does that happen? I think we'll be all set. So we're looking forward to that. Listen, Carl, thanks for joining us.
Hey, one more.
What's that?
Can't stop without that. One more big event this year is 2 weeks after our state meet. We have something called the U16 New England U16 Championships, which is going to bring another 250 Nordic skiers from all over New England. So each state will have a team. Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and then there's the Midwest that comes in, 48 kids from each state. And they have to qualify for this. So it's 24 of the best boys in Maine, 24 of the best girls in Maine, same thing in all the other states. We'll be here for 3 days of racing. March, I want to say, I don't have it right in front of me, 8, 9, and 10, if I remember right, that weekend. So it's the early in March, 2 weeks
That's
after.
awesome.
That's
going to be that might fall right around Can-Am weekend, or maybe the weekend after, it sounds like.
After, yeah. The weekend before that is when we qualify our kids in the state of Maine during Can-Am weekend, and then we'll have that just after.
Carl,
Yep.
Carl, is it safe?
But go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is it safe to say that New England probably has some of the best, if not the best, Nordic skiers in the nation? Or
Absolutely, we compete we go to something called the Junior Nationals every year, which brings all the regions together, the Nordic regions all together. And this year it's in Minneapolis. Typically, it's us in Alaska competing for the championship almost every year. Alaska's got a very deep-seated Nordic culture up there as well, and a lot of training that goes on. But I think we have won that championship like 7 years in a row, the New England team.
Wow.
And they call that Junior USSA Junior Nationals. So that's one step above this U16. If you qualify at U16s, a lot of times they may take the top 7 or 8 U16 kids from New England to this championship. So it's a really high level, the next, like I say, next level. So, but New England's always been right up there, very, very competitive. The other thing I want to mention real quick is the Can-Am weekend. We always have a ski joring event up at the outdoor center, and that's really, really fun. I mean, really fun to watch. Exactly. Yeah. Look at the Can-Am right there. So it's what we try to do at that event is as soon as the Can-Am is done downtown, the start, we will start on Saturday afternoon our ski joring events up at the outdoor center. And we'd love to see more spectators up there because it's a heck of a lot of fun to watch. We have some amazing teams come up from Southern Maine and from Quebec. And the dogs are very, very different than the Can-Am dogs. They aren't like your little Naktuk. What's her name? Naktuk?
Nanook.
Nanook, excuse me. Like your little Nanook Siberian dog. They're really long and lanky and kind of sprinters versus endurance dogs. And they are amazingly quick and amazingly powerful. It's really fun to watch. A lot of them are 2 dogs or 1 dog ski joring. And they have I think it's a 4-dog push sled or a mini sled kind of thing. It's really, really neat. And we've got a couple of local people always jump in there and have fun. So that's a great event.
That's incredible. Listen, we're going to get cut off here, but thanks for joining us. If you have not been up to the outdoor center, you need to get up there, folks. But this has been Carl Theriault. Carl, take care, and you better get your tennis game going because I plan to beat you this year. So
all right, let's get out there. Let's
better be ready.
What does Chris Como say? Let's get to it or get to it, or I don't know what it is, but let's do it anyway.
All right, Carl, thanks. Take care, man. Have a great day, and we'll see you out on the trails, my friend.
Thanks, Eric. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, that was Carl Theriault, and we are running out of time. Tomorrow on the show, we are hoping to line up Mr. Ryan Pelletier to talk about everything that's going on in Aroostook County. So this has been Wake Up SJV. You guys are awesome. We will see you tomorrow morning. Take care.